believe we're getting close to March. For our February Lunch and Learn. We are jam-packed with information today. So in lieu of even doing an icebreaker, I've cut that out of our time together so that we can make sure that we get all the information that we need from our 3 in-state schools, as well as some additional summer opportunities, as well as some FAFSA updates, as well as some AZ CAN updates. So if any questions come up, please certainly jump in, unmute yourself, or feel free to put any questions or comments into the chat, and we will get going. Let me share my screen again. Thank you again for everybody for joining. Can everybody see my screen okay? Are we good? Perfect. All right. Okay, so scratch on the icebreaker. We are going to do some FAFSA updates with Julie first, and then we're going to turn it over to Access ASU. It's going to share some information about upcoming summer or pre-college summer programs for our kiddos in high school right now. We're going to then shift it to Rudy McCormick, who's going to share some updates on opportunities within University of Arizona. And then we'll have some updates about opportunities within NAU. And then I will kind of take over towards the end and talk about some additional pre-college summer programs, as well as some AZ CAN updates. So again, jam-packed information. You will be getting this recording and the slides so that you have access to them at a later date should you need to reference them again. But again, any questions or comments, please pop those in the chat or feel free to come off of mute. And with that, I am going to turn it over to our fearless FAFSA leader, Julie.
Not the position anybody wants to be in right now, but yes. But thanks so much, Jen, and everyone. So definitely wanted to provide everyone with a quick update regarding FAFSA. So the quick update is that I'm sure many of you have hosted FAFSA workshops, been to FAFSA events, and have had some students be able to submit the form successfully, while you've had some other students have run into some technical glitches. So I did want to point out that there are obviously technical glitches coming with the form that are preventing some students from actually successfully being able to complete it. For some of those glitches, there are no workarounds. For others, they do have some workarounds that students are able to do, and that way they can go ahead and successfully complete the FAFSA. One of the major things is that inviting contributors to the form has been an issue. However, I do want to point out that they have resolved some of those issues on the federal student aid site. Another one coming down the pipeline are that contributors without a social security number, so the student has a social, but the parent doesn't, or the spouse or other contributor doesn't, they're currently unable to access the form, complete it on their section. So some news came out from federal student aid last night, actually, that announced that a resolution for this will be in mid-March. So very excited for that. So just know that if you have any students that are from mixed family status, the student has a social, the parent doesn't, just know that in mid-March, they'll be able to successfully go into the form and complete it. With that, it kind of brings a lot of frustrated parents and a lot of frustrated students because right now they're unable to successfully complete it. However, this is a really positive sign that things are coming along and resolutions are coming along. That way students will be able to complete the form hopefully in the next few weeks here. Also, I do want to point out is if you are calling federal student aid, just note that there are long wait times. Sometimes when you do call in, you're on hold for a very long time. And if you do speak to somebody, sometimes there's no resolutions that they can provide because they're still working on those resolutions. So the whole point is right now just to be patient, make sure that your students are completing the application, at least going in and completing their section of it. If they run into any technical glitches, ABOR is publishing a site that will be up tomorrow, actually, a web page. It has all of the workarounds, pro tips, all of the up-to-date information from federal student aid regarding all the technical glitches happening. So we'll definitely be able to publish that and share it with Jen so that she can share it with everyone here on this webinar. But again, the biggest thing is just to keep encouraging students and families to go into the application, complete it if they can, and just to really trying to stay up to date with all these federal updates and announcements that are happening, so that everything can get resolved and students can complete the form. On to the next slide, I do want to share some really preliminary data with you regarding FAFSA. So we don't have student level data yet, but we do have data on FAFSA submissions. So these are students that have submitted the form. However, take into consideration that a lot of these students still need to go in and make corrections to the form, and they can't yet make corrections until mid-March. So if you look February 9th of last year, we had a little over 29,000 Arizona high school seniors complete the FAFSA form. This year, as of February 9th, we've had a little over 15,000. So we're actually down close to 45% compared to last year. This is definitely something that is contributing to those glitches happening in the form. And then we're also seeing a lot of students not actually completing the form because they're hearing about these glitches, and it's discouraging them from actually going in and completing it. If you'll look at the rankings on the right-hand side, Arizona is ranked 49th in FAFSA completion right now. We have 15.7% of our high school seniors completing the form as of the 9th. We have some company with us. We are not last. Florida is 50th and Alaska is 51st. However, we are in the bottom rankings there. So there's only, room to move up in those rankings. And as more and more things get resolved with federal student aid, and as more schools have FAFSA workshops and students know that resolutions are in place, we hope that these numbers will increase so that we can increase from 15.7% and have more of our high school seniors actually completing the form. On the next slide, I do want to show how Arizona ranks nationally. So you'll see that when they started tracking on the left-hand side, we were fairly close to national numbers. You'll notice that as the weeks progress, we're actually that gap is becoming larger to see from national to Arizona. So even though the national rate is 22.2% and we're at 15.7%, we're still below the national average. And there's a lot of states that are higher than us in FAFSA completion. Some of them have close to 30% of their high school seniors, 35% completing the FAFSA. So we do have some work cut out for us, knowing that we want all of our seniors to complete this critical form so that they're not missing out on any type of opportunity to pay for that, to pay for college. The other thing I do want to keep in mind, everyone to keep in mind, is that our universities have extended their FAFSA priority dates to May 1st in response to these glitches that are happening with FAFSA. So just note that students do have additional time if they're going to go to ASU, U of A, or NAU. Priority date is now May 1st for FAFSA completion. If students need more time, universities will work with students on a one-on-one basis. So if there's additional glitches that are happening, just know that they will work with them to ensure that they get their financial aid package and they're all secure. So there's no stress to the student, which they have no control over this. So definitely wanted to keep that in mind there. And then I'm gonna hand it over. Oh, we do. Sorry, that's okay. There's a lot going on slides. So I will hand it. Jen, do you want me to cover this one, or Graciela?
Graciela, were you going to do this one, or do you want Julie to take it?
Julie can take it. I had just I have a little issue with someone trying to get into the chat. So
no worries. So I do want to announce that as part of our Arizona FAFSA Challenge, which we're running this year, we're really excited to partner with Ask Benji team to have a FAFSA Innovation Award. We've had this award in the past, and what it is basically schools can nominate themselves, you can nominate another school, and we just really want to hear about all the great things that you're doing to encourage your seniors to complete the FAFSA. So if you scan this QR code, it will take you to the nomination form. And the Ask Benji team and us at AWAR here will choose a winner at the end of the school year so that we can provide you with some great incentives for your students in your school, and really just be able to share the message and all the great work that you're doing so that other schools can see all these innovative strategies that you're implementing and try them on their own campus. So definitely encourage you to scan this QR code. We'll also put the link in the chat as well. But we want to hear all about the great things that you're doing and choose a winner. And we have some of our past winners listed on here, such as Millennium, Independent, Superior. We've been running this challenge for a few years now, so there's quite a few best practices and high schools that we've been able to award.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, wanted to make mention too of something that can be used as a resource for everybody. And the link is embedded within this slide deck, which you will be getting, but I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat as well. This is a Better FAFSA resource hub that we put together to be able to provide direct links minute by minute to day by day, any updates that are happening, any new resources, any new tools. It includes all of the FAFSA boot camps, recent webinars. If at any point in time you are unable to access something, please reach out to me directly because I kind of oversee this and am constantly in there making sure that everything is updated. You'll notice that there is a slide deck and a recording that is coming soon. This was from last week's FAFSA Coalition update meeting that Julie held. And so that will be loaded just as soon as those slides and the recording is ready. So please make use of this. And again, if you see any concerns, please reach out to me at any point. Also want to share that Capital One and NCAN were generous to provide grant opportunities to about 15 college access partners across the country in states that have a Capital One Cafe. And we were fortunate to be selected for this opportunity. And so we have been hosting Capital One one-to-one FAFSA workshops at the Capital One Cafe for students and families. Our first one was in January, and we didn't anticipate a large crowd only because we didn't have a long runway period for advertising. And because unfortunately the location of the Capital One Cafe is at Scottsdale Fashion Square, which is not the most kind of conducive location to work with students and families. But we were happily surprised that we supported 58 people, students, families, grandparents, and Capital One Cafe staff, ironically. We will be hosting our second one-to-one FAFSA workshop this Saturday. They are all from 10 to 2, and then we have one remaining in March. So please share this information with your students and families, share with your networks. We just want to be able to get the word out and support students and families across Arizona, or at least in a space that's close to the Capital One Cafe in regard to FAFSA and even creating FSAIDs or answering any sort of question pertaining to paying for college, or even with regard to questions about college or education or training after high school. So spread the word. Next, last but not least, I think in our FAFSA summary is TriU is hosting a webinar on the 29th at noon. It's financial aid and important next step updates for AZ school and community partners. So this is an opportunity to get some information from TriU in regard to what to expect with the financial aid packaging, timelines that we can provide to students and families to just support them through this very condensed process and opportunity for Q&A. So I have put the registration link in here, and you, once again, when you get the slide deck, you'll be able to access that. All right, I cranked through that pretty fast, but want to be able to give ample time to our speakers. So again, today we're focusing on our pre-college summer programs. So opportunities at our 3 in-state schools and even within the community for our high school students to really be able to embed themselves in a college-going culture, to understand what to expect and to be able to see themselves in that environment. And so with that, I am going to alphabetically kick it off to Arizona State University. And I've got Krista and Abigail who are going to share some information with us.
Great. Thank you, Jennifer. My name is Krista Cavan, and I work for Access ASU in the outreach department, where we're bringing students on campus, whether that's for large scale events, tours, or our summer program. So I'm very happy to be here and provide some information to all of you about Access ASU and ASU summer programs. So just to kick it off, we basically want to be able to bring students to our campus and provide them with an opportunity to see what college life is like, what they could potentially be looking at in the near future. So we want to expose them to our campuses, to look at college readiness by hearing from professional staff or admissions representatives or instructors on campus, to be able to provide them and allow them to see what the resources are, and to give them that opportunity to be on campus. I don't know how many of you went to summer camp, but it's fun, it's exciting, it's a new environment, it's away from mom and dad. Sometimes it's the first time they're away from their parents, and it gives them kind of an opportunity to immerse themselves in the culture and live in a dorm and eat at the dining hall and get to meet a whole host of different people and see a whole different aspect of their academic development. We want them to be able to have an opportunity to develop themselves in terms of life skills, leadership skills, and to create a sense of community with those people that they're engaging with during that time frame. We want them to engage. Oftentimes we have opportunities in different degree programs. So we'll move on to the next slide. We're good. So here are just a few examples of feedback we've received from students in the last couple of years in terms of their experiences within our programs. And as you can see, it's about creating connections and community and immersing themselves in this experience, kind of seeing everything that Arizona State University has to offer in higher education. Again. All right, so I had the opportunity to be involved with Barrett Summer Scholars on the ground last year, my first year here at Arizona State University. And I wanted to give you kind of an overview of what Barrett Summer Scholars is. It's basically a program for those students who are academically higher achievers and motivated students who kind of want to immerse themselves, not just for a summer camp, but they're engaging in actual class work while they're there. So just really getting a good feel of what that's like. So basically they'll be participating in a human event course, and this is a mandatory course for all freshmen in the honors program here at Arizona State University. So they basically take that and adjust it to the amount of time and the grade level for these students. And so really it's a critical thinking course. And so they spend their mornings kind of working in the human event course. They have an option of engaging in an elective course, and those are determined kind of based on which campus they're in. There are 4 campuses here in the Phoenix metro area, and different colleges reside in different campuses, and therefore we're kind of focusing on different elective areas. So they're taught by university professors, staff, graduate students, and basically we want to kind of give them a taste of what that whole feel is. So this is basically for students who are going to be rising 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th graders. We've changed that this year. Last year we started with rising 8th graders, but we didn't include the 12th graders and found that that was missing. So we've gone ahead and changed that. Basically, it's the registration process involves filling out the application. We're requesting a teacher recommendation. They're uploading transcripts. We're looking kind of their community engagement. So we're looking at the whole student in terms of our selection process and acceptance. We're asking for a GPA of 2.5 or higher for these students. And basically this is a paid program. So it's $1,000 per participant, which is pricey. However, we do have need-based scholarships available. Next. So basically, these are our camp dates for this year. As you can see, each campus hosts a different grade level. So for those students who want to come back another year, they're going to get a different campus feel. Each campus is very different. And so if we have returning students, they kind of get a well-rounded exposure to our different campuses. Next. Here's kind of the day in the life. Basically, they're busy. These kids, it's not as much fun and games. They do have time to kind of let their hair down, but basically they go from breakfast to class to presentations, eat, and they're off to the elective course, and then some more group activities. But the evenings are that social time, that ability to kind of connect a little closer with students, have some more engagement in a social setting, some personal time, and then they wake up and start all over again. Next. Another camp through Access ASU is the Cesar Chavez Leadership Institute. And basically it's founded on kind of Cesar Chavez's life and service and civic engagement. And so we are focusing on those types of aspects. So participating in volunteer work outside of campus, they actually go out into the community and do volunteer work. They spend a lot of time engaging in groups and they actually have a servant leadership project they work on while they're here. And they want to kind of build their own family groups. They call it La Familia, building their own smaller engagement family groups where they can connect and really work on community. So this program is open to 11th and 12th graders, rising 11th and 12th graders. Unlike Barrett Summer Scholars, this is very low cost in terms of a $50 registration fee. The rest of the costs are covered once they're accepted, and that runs for a week. There's some contact information there if it sounds like you'll be receiving this copy of this, so you'll have access to it. Next. All right, RISE Leadership Institute. This program is focusing on the experience of Black and African American students within the community. This is open to rising 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders for the next school year. And basically, they're engaging in a lot of college readiness and financial literacy and learning about and celebrating Black history and Black pride, and working to develop kind of their leadership skills, servant leadership, like CCLI, the Cesar Chavez Institute. They will be going out into the community this year and doing volunteer work. So we wanted to kind of engage in that process as well and have that volunteer component. And ultimately, we want these students to come away with a sense of community and how they can take their own skills and their own experience and bring it back to their community, engage in the community. From last year's group of students, we had plenty of them go back out into their communities and high schools and start their own Black student organizations within their high schools. So we like to see that engagement going forward. Next. Inspire is primarily focused on Native and American youth, and it's quite a popular program. We actually get lots of applicants, and about 80 students actually participate. The staff and the student workers who are engaging with students are also Native students, and so we're really focusing on culture and community and developing those interpersonal skills and community skills with the hope that can show them what's possible with following up with further education. So they receive a lot of information from the different colleges. So they'll talk to people from the business school, from engineering, from the sciences, from the arts, and try and give them a well-rounded idea of what college life would be and the different career and college academic options that are available to them. Ultimately, we want them to come away with empowered in what's available to them and being able to see how they can bring that back to their own communities and provide that support to their own communities. Next. Here are some deadlines. Our applications are open, all but Inspire, which should be opening up in the next couple of weeks. We have an early deadline for Barrett Summer Scholars, March 22nd. Mainly, our applications will be closing on April 1st. We're hoping to go through all of the applications and notify campers by mid-April of their acceptance, and then we'll go through the process to bring them on campus for June and first part of July. Next. So to learn more about summer programs, these are Access ASU programs. Arizona State University has multitude of camps and options available to students. Here are just a couple: Camp Cantonese and Aguila, Camp Cronkite. And if you'll advance to the next slide, please. So here are some QR codes. The website QR code there goes to landing page where you can research all the different camps and opportunities, whether it's engineering camp, different arts camps, chemistry, all the different college camps that are available, maybe not all of them, but most of them, you can do a search and see in terms of interest and what your student may be interested in. Varies in price. Is it something that's a residential versus kind of drop off each day and pick up? So I encourage you all to kind of research or look at the different options available through Arizona State University. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Krista. I appreciate that. And Abigail did also put in the links to the webpage and the flyer in the chat, so you have that available to you as well. And again, in case anybody joined us late, these slides will be going out to everybody, so you'll have access to those QR codes. And now I am going to shift over to University of Arizona and Rudy.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. Appreciate that. First, I wanted to just say a little bit about our office, which is the Office of Early Academic Outreach. Our mission is to increase the number of low-income, underrepresented, and first-generation college-bound students who aspire toward and are eligible to enroll in a university degree program. So summer programs is something that we definitely kind of talk to the students and to families about. It's about how students are using their time and after-school activities in school, but then also kind of how are they using that time during summer as well, to continue to build upon the experiences that might help them to kind of continue to build upon that college identity that we hope that students and families will take on. In early academic outreach, we have 5 strategies for change that I think we oftentimes see within summer programs. You know, we want to inspire students. We want to engage parents. And so in some of these summer programs that I'll mention to you, there oftentimes is an opportunity to engage the families, to have families come in, get more information that will kind of support their students' college aspirations. And for us, as we're working with first-generation college-bound families, we want to make sure that those families have a base knowledge of the admissions and paying for college process, so that they can navigate that as best as possible. We partner with K-12. You know, part of this is making sure that counselors and educators in our middle schools and high schools understand the opportunities that are available. We want to work to foster academic and career pathways, and you're going to see that in some of the summer programs that I'll highlight. And of course, developing college-bound peer groups. We want students to engage with other students who have these same aspirations, who are excited about these potential careers. And hopefully that gets them other peers that they're reaching out to, talking to as they're making that college plan. You'll see kind of throughout this that I'm very passionate. I've got kind of strong connections to each of these programs I'm going to highlight today. I myself, as I came to the University of Arizona, was a first-generation student. My parents had gone through 8th grade. I was the first in my family to go to college. Came from a low-income background, didn't know how I was going to pay for college, and was first in the family to go. It was actually one of these programs, the New Start Summer Program, which I'll talk about in a little while, that actually introduced me to the University of Arizona. I lived 20 minutes from the University of Arizona, but I still called my godmother and asked her what the cross streets were for the University of Arizona. I had been on the campus to the Flandreau Science Center. I had been there to a big fair that happened on campus, but I didn't see myself on the University of Arizona campus. And I think summer programs give students an opportunity to really engage in the campus and get to see some of this. So we put together this website that has that last page there. You've got the QR code. We'll see this come up again, but you'll see some of the summer programs that are available at the University of Arizona. I'm going to kind of quickly touch upon some of the options that are available to our students. So first we have the Summer Engineering Academy. So this is out of the College of Engineering. We can go to the next slide. And this program in particular is looking to serve students that are currently in grades 8th through 11th. So grades 8th through 11th, and you'll see that on a slide here in just a little while. But the program serves over 300 students and provides an introduction to the students to the 17 engineering majors that are available. And they do that through a couple of modalities that I'll share in just a second. But in particular, they do this over a 6-week period on the University of Arizona campus. So you can go to the next slide. So the two modalities that I mentioned earlier is that they have a residential component, and then they have 3-day camps, which are camps where the students come onto campus and come off of campus. So the Explore Engineering overnight option, you'll see that that's a little bit more expensive, of course, because of that residential component. That in particular kind of focuses on providing an overview of all 17 of those majors. So it's pretty intensive. And I will say that with all summer programs, we want our students and families to know that they should always ask if there's scholarships available, because there are for this program and for many of the others that I'll be talking about in just a second. So in the themed weekly 3-day camps, what happens is that they tend to do a deeper dive into the subject matter and kind of show how many of the fields in engineering are connected. So usually they'll take an approach of looking at 3 engineering fields and kind of show how those are connected. You'll see that there's a lower cost to this, but still scholarships available. Next slide. The application for this is right around the corner. That's going to open on February 26th and will close March 29th. As we mentioned earlier, need-based scholarships do require an application, and that application period for the need-based scholarships closes at April 15th. As I mentioned earlier, current 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade students, and there is a website there, email and phone number. Again, you'll receive these slides with all this information. So that's the Summer Engineering Academy. Next up, we've got the Native American Science and Engineering program. This is out of our Office of Early Academic Outreach. And I'm very proud to say that the person who coordinates this, her name is Carol Sinez, and Carol was actually a student in the very first cohort of this program. She's now leading the initiative, and we love to kind of see students come through. Not only is Carol leading the initiative, but she's in her first year of doctoral studies in public health as well, which is awesome. So here you get a chance to see a little bit about what NACEP students get to experience in the program. 23 hours of programming, designing, building, and battling BattleBots. And we probably can't call them BattleBots, so we'll pretend I didn't say that. To test the engineering design process. They had a chance to build a computer from the very core component pieces. Interactions with industry professionals from Raytheon, IBM, and the Tahana Atam Water Resources. We had designing 3D printed items with a faculty member, Dr. Hannah Budinoff, using Tinkercad and Cura. There was also 18 hours engaging in professional development and project-based learning activities. 200 participants, families, and program partners attended our kickoff banquet at the end of the residential program, because as it says there, it's more than just the 1-week residential program. We work with these students over the entire academic year. So next slide talks about some of the outcomes. NACEP is part of a STEM push network that is looking at pre-college STEM programs that are having an impact on underrepresented students within STEM. And so through this network, we're able to kind of share our data with them and get and find out more about the impact of our program. So we're seeing 90% of our students enrolling in at least one semester of college. We're seeing 71% of those that enroll are enrolling in STEM. Of the 157 with known or declared majors, 108 are remaining in STEM. 82 have graduation records, and at minimum, 45 graduates have an associate's degree or higher. At least 27 students have enrolled in a graduate program for at least one semester, and at least 9 students have master's degree in STEM fields. Going through those really quickly, but we're very glad to see that positive impact. Through this collaboration with STEM Push, they've helped us to put together this document which highlights a lot of features about the program. You can revisit that and kind of look at that at a later point. I'll go on to the next slide. And this is just mentioning that our application process has been open. We've been taking applications, and we are currently working towards a priority deadline of March 15th. We are encouraging students to please apply and kind of reach this March 15th deadline. If there are spaces that are still available in the program, we may extend that. That's happened in the past, but we always tell students and families that if they can meet the March 15th deadline, that gives them the greatest opportunity to participate in the program. There's a QR code, website, and our phone number is listed there. The next program that I'll talk about is the MedStart summer program. I actually had the opportunity to have my daughter go through this program. MedStart is celebrating this summer 55 years on the University of Arizona campus. That's amazing. So it's a great program for students who are interested in kind of exploring medicine, and it serves 11th grade students. Next slide. So what I didn't mention about MedStart, so 11th grade students, it's a residential summer program, and it's 6 weeks. So it's an amazing opportunity for students to spend 6 weeks on the University of Arizona campus, for them to gain college credit, and for them to explore all the different health-related fields: public health, nursing, medicine, and pharmacy. So they get an opportunity to explore all these different fields. Oftentimes, they're even taking trips to the College of Medicine in Phoenix, going up to the Northern Arizona University as well. So it's a really great program. Next slide.
Rudy, I'm going to ask, there's a question in the chat. Is this one for rising juniors?
This one, this year is for current juniors going into their senior
It's a
year.
senior.
I will say that
Perfect.
with all of these summer programs, you definitely want to look at them on an annual basis, because previously MedStart was for 10th and 11th graders. And so every once in a while, sometimes based on funding, we can see shifts in how the programs operate. So it's always important to kind of review, the websites, and stay current with who's being served, application deadlines, all of that. Here's just some pictures, of course, of the students and some of the different experiences that they get to have, both kind of on the University of Arizona campus and outside of the campus. But it's a full residential program. So whenever a program is residential, of course, the students are typically busy from 8 o'clock in the morning till late at night. These students in particular are getting also some college credit. So they're in class and also kind of taking some time to do homework, get tutoring, things like that as well. Next slide. So this is the application process. I will say that for MedStart, the deadline to apply was February 1st, and you'll see that this is a summer program where the application opened really early. I wondered to myself, should I not bring this one forward? But I did want to bring it forward because, of course, you're going to be working with students, or you may know kind of younger students who are interested in the field of medicine. I want to make sure that this is on our radar because of the history of this program. If you've got a student that's interested too, they may still contact the office and just find out, did they meet the applicant? Did they get the number of applicants that they were hoping for? You never know. Every once in a while, programs will reopen their applications. So please contact them if you do know a student that's interested. But from what I understand, the deadline to apply was February 1st. Next slide. And finally, I mentioned New Start Summer Program. This made such a difference for me, both as I came into the University of Arizona, but then I also had a chance to work for it as an undergraduate student, as a graduate student, and eventually had an opportunity to serve as the coordinator and program director for this program. So, these programs, oftentimes you hear about that, these students that have gone through these programs coming back and being a part of these initiatives. So New Start was created also in 1969, so also celebrating 55 years. 6-week summer bridge program for incoming first-year students. In particular, they're hoping to serve first-gen, low-income, and those who have been historically marginalized, and providing this comprehensive transition to university life, not just kind of taking classes, but also meeting with current college students, being introduced to the critical resources that make that transition to high school as smooth as possible for students. Whether it's on the University of Arizona campus or anywhere else, I always recommend summer programs, but especially summer bridge programs like New Start, because it just gives students such an edge as they're coming into the University of Arizona, helps them to feel like a sophomore instead of that freshman as they engage on the campus. Next slide. So key components, there's optional housing component for anybody that's coming in from outside of Tucson. Typically, they'll stay onto campus, but there sometimes are opportunities for students in the Tucson area to also stay on campus as well. I talked about the college credit. They've got social events like a talent show, bodacious, loony array of student talent. Monte Carlo night, which is just a kind of fun social evening, an academic conference, residence hall programs. Those t-shirts are great. I agree. They're pretty cool. Bear down, right? They of course engage a lot of our undergraduates in the leadership in the residence hall and also doing daily workshops for the students. And as I said, these students end up coming into the university feeling like sophomores. They're usually helping out freshmen that haven't gone through the program and kind of giving them advice, pointing them in the right direction, things like that. Next slide. New Start and all of these summer programs, I encourage you and encourage families to always ask about scholarships. New Start is a program that if you were just to look at the cost of the program, sometimes our families will say like, that's too much, I can't afford it. But when we encourage them and tell them about the fact that they can fill out not just this year's FAFSA, but last year's FAFSA, so complete both of those FAFSAs, that a student that is eligible for the Pell Grant would not have to pay a penny as they participate in New Start. And so, so that's why it's so important for us to encourage our students to ask about what financial support is there, because sometimes that can make a difference. Even for students who are not on financial need, there are some friends and alumni scholarships that are provided by the program to help students who may not be in that need-based financial aid situation. Next slide. So for New Start, we're always encouraging the students, of course, to apply for admission to the college or university. After that they can start to fill out the New Start application process. You've got the QR code there for that, the website there as well as the phone number if students have questions. Once they get into once they've been admitted, they apply for New Start, then they're going to start to get more information and of course encouragement to complete both FAFSAs, and then starting to get them ready to kind of arrive on campus and to have this really life-changing experience that students like myself and students that went through the program as far back as 55 years ago will speak about in terms of how this program really made a difference for them as they came onto the University of Arizona campus. Final slide is just kind of that slide that kind of takes us back to our early academic outreach page. If you're looking for one spot where you can find information on the summer programs that I discussed today, or other summer programs that are available at the University of Arizona, you're welcome to visit this page to see what's offered there. If by chance you know of any other summer programs that are here at the University of Arizona, I'm always kind of learning about new programs. And if that's the case, we'd love to kind of have them added to our program list here. But thank you very much for the time and the opportunity to showcase some of the summer programs that we feel make a big difference to students, whether they're coming into the University of Arizona. We've had some students that come into these programs and they go on to other colleges and universities. For us, we just want to make sure we're providing them that best experiences that's preparing them for post-secondary education.
Thank you so much, Rudy. This was fantastic. And again, for those that hopped on late, making sure everybody knows you'll be getting these slides, so you'll have access to all the links and QR codes. With that, I want to turn it over to Kathleen from NAU, and she's going to talk to you about the Nizoni Academy. Kathleen?
Good afternoon. My slides aren't as fancy as everybody else's, but I learned some new techniques. I'm actually new with the Nizoni Academy. Last summer was our actual first in-person since the pandemic. So last year was kind of like a learning curve for me. This year is our second year. Our Nizoni Academy is a 4-week summer program for Native American high school students. Our program runs 4 weeks. So this year it's running from June 1st to June 30th. The application deadline has been moved to Monday, February 26th, because we still have some slots open. And our application actually opened up back in December already. So students tend to wait until the last minute, sending out reminders and even reminders to individuals who have made contact with us regarding our program, sending them reminders of the deadline coming up. Our new applicants must be in 9th and 10th grade of this current year. But we do have third-year returning students who are considered our rising seniors, who are juniors who were previously in the program already. So they kind of move up. So this year, if they're returning, this will be their last year to be able to participate in Nijoni Academy. Our application fee is $150. If the student has not been selected, the fee is refundable, so they don't lose out on that money if they're not selected for the program. The students will reside on campus, the NAU campus, and their program includes their meal plan. And for each student, it costs approximately $3,000. This includes like the meal plan, the housing, any transportation that we provide them for activities. So that's all that cost is about $3,000 per student. Okay, next slide.
Quick question, Kathleen,
Uh-huh.
are there any need-based scholarships for students who can't afford the $3,000?
Actually, we only asked for the 150. Our
Okay, so that's
program,
just
yeah.
what it would cost. Got it, got
Mhm,
it.
yeah.
Perfect.
So what we do also is we look for grants to help us supplement the cost to help pay for the summer program that we provide to the students. So we don't receive like any kind of federal grant for this program. We do get some funding from the university itself, but we also still seek other sources of funding as well. Our curriculum is focused on sustainability and climate change from the STEM approach. And this also includes like lab work, any other type of coursework that the instructors will have the students do. We also have a course in service matters, which is basically teaching the students about volunteer work. We all know how volunteer work has become important, especially if students are seeking scholarships. That's a part of the application. They sometimes ask us, have you done any kind of volunteer work? So we want to expose them to what kind of volunteer work there may be out there. Last summer, they volunteered. One of the first volunteer work that they did was pick trash up on campus. They went around campus, picked up trash. Another activity was volunteering at the local food bank where they make sandwiches for those who are homeless and others who may not be able to afford meals to come and pick up a meal from the food bank. The other was helping out at a Juneteenth celebration on close to campus. So there's a variety of volunteer work that they do while in the academy, and it's usually the three Saturdays out of the month that they're there. Of course, students, when they are participating in the program, it's again getting the experience of living on campus, learning about campus, what kind of resources are there on campus, where is the financial aid office if they do choose to come to NAU when they graduate high school. Where are all of the important locations on campus? We also bring in guest speakers to come and talk with the students about what it took for them to get into the position that they're in now, their career. What kind of education did they have? We all along those lines, we also try to include some fun activities like team building activities, leaderships, hikes, taking them to movie night. We have a cultural day set aside for the students where the students are taken out kind of like a field trip to maybe one of the local reservations where they're exposed to what kind of cultural activities they may have. In previous years, they've taken students to one of our staff. He helps and they put up a teepee. So they do things like that. Former staff was from the Hopi tribe, and she took them to her village during a cultural event where the girls learned how to make yeast bread and the stews and whatever else, and the guys helped chop wood to help prepare for the cultural activity. So things of that nature is what we do. And students do earn one Carnegie credit while they're there on campus, and that gets the transcript gets sent to their high school. And at the end of the summer program, we do have a small graduation for the students. Parents, guardians are invited to come and witness their completion of the program. This program is really designed for Native American students. We emphasize first gen students, potential first gen students, also those that may come from low income families and are, of course, the reservation. This isn't to say that we don't accept applications from students who may not meet this criteria. We do accept students as long as they meet the requirements. Of course, they have to have a 2.4 GPA as well. So you mentioned about post-secondary education. That is one of our emphasis as well for this group of students, is that our emphasis is to engage them in these activities so that they look into the future, I guess, to say, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to go to college. I want to, whether it's starting out at a community college level and then eventually transferring over to university, we want to instill that in them, is to get them to feel what it's like to be on campus, learning that responsibility of getting themselves up in the morning, getting ready, knowing that they have to go to class. They have a science class that they have to go to. They have a service matters class they have to go to. For our rising seniors, we do plan on putting them into internship sites for the summer. So just getting them exposed to what can occur on college, learning to be away from their parents. For some of our students that came and participated last summer, it was their first time away from home, off the reservation. So as a first gen student, someone who's lived in a dormitory, you kind of get anxiety not knowing your surroundings, not knowing some of the students that are there. But that's part of exposure, part of us trying to instill in them that this is what it's going to be like should you decide to go on to college, to transition them, help them transition, I guess you can say, into post-secondary once they leave. So that is our focus for these students. We've had students who are coming back as rising seniors who are going to be mentors to our new students coming in, freshmen and sophomore students, teaching them the ropes about what's on campus, just being a mentor to the students and saying, okay, this is what we did, this is how we took care of these things, this is where we went, and just showing them what's on campus. Our students that were there last year, we had a variety of students. We had students who came directly from the reservation, but we also had students who live in like Phoenix, who came to the program. So they're a little bit more exposed to off-reservation experiences compared to our students who live on the reservation. So they also help mentor those students and talk to those students. Well, this is what it's like growing up in the city. And so it's not just for those students who live on reservation, but any Native American student who feels that they can gain some type of information from participating in this program. So the one thing I forgot to mention was our email address in here. We recently had our program director leave, and so she was the one who took care of our website. So we're training someone else to to learn how to take care of our website. So that person will start updating our information on our Nijoni Academy website page. But this program goals is really to increase the high school graduation rate also among our Native American students. and then to gain the academic competencies that they may learn while attending this academy as well.
Thank you so much, Kathleen. And if you have that updated contact, we can always add it into the slide deck before I send it out. We are crunched for time because we had so much amazing information shared by our presenters. So I am going to crank it out. You'll be getting this deck, so I'm not going to spend time on the remaining opportunities. Just know that there are some additional ASU summer programs through the colleges that I wanted to highlight. A couple of them, I believe, were highlighted also on Krista's slide, Camp Cronkite, for example. The one that I did want to speak briefly on is the ASU Joaquin Bustos Math Science Honors Program. This is a phenomenal program. I bring it up even though the deadline has already passed for this year, only because of the opportunities for students. This is a credit-bearing course in terms of a 3-credit math course for students, and it is completely free to students. I have an asterisk there by senior. So high school sophomores, juniors can enroll in this or apply for this opportunity. Seniors can as well, as long as they have been accepted to ASU. So I did link the recruitment presentation for this school year. So at least you'll have kind of a general idea of when those applications open. But for students who are math science, this is an opportunity to definitely share with them. And again, the remaining 2 community-based you will have access to. Wanted to quickly bring to your attention, if you're not already aware, we typically do an annual Arizona Counselor Spring Training Update or a virtual event. This is for school counselors, educators, college access professionals. This year's event will be on Thursday, April 25th from 10 to 12. This QR code is the registration link. We're really excited about this year because I know sometimes we get feedback that we have so many different great breakout sessions to choose from and everybody can't hear everything. So we're going to kind of like a TED Talk or a burst session style where everybody will have access to the presenters. And we have both state and national presenters that are going to be participating in this, providing some really valuable information around, okay, FAFSA has been kind of crazy. What now? What do we know and how can we support students and families moving forward, especially supporting them in this unusually long application cycle, because decision day is going to look a whole lot different for us. And so how can we continue to support students in the summer and then establishing strategies to celebrate the resilience of this class of 2024, because these are our COVID kiddos and they now are dealing with kind of the FAFSA craziness that we've been experiencing. So wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. Always my shameless plug, if you have not joined or to become a member of the AZ CAN or the Arizona College Access Network, this is free membership to provide to you resources, community, professional development, advocacy, all of those great things. This is, again, a free membership, and I put that QR code there for you. And then if you are not familiar, one of the member benefits of AZ CAN is our college access professional training courses. These are our remaining spring courses. Note that a couple of them have already started. We also have a course that I've listed in the summer. There's some additional courses in the summer. I just haven't opened those up for registration. QR code here is for registration. Something that I want to highlight that you may not be aware of is that our CAP courses, effective in January of this year, are now eligible for graduate credit at Lindenwood University for $75 per course. This is important for folks who are part of a K-12 system in which there's salary advancement opportunities. It's also super important for our folks who have school counseling certificates in Arizona through option B and C. You may have a 6-credit deficiency and you need to take some courses that will resolve that 6-credit deficiency. ADE will accept the graduate credit from Lindenwood University. This is a very, very, very cost-effective approach to resolving that 6-credit deficiency. So wanted to be sure to bring that to everybody's attention. Whew, I got it to 12:30 on the nose. Our next Lunch and Learn, which is actually our final Lunch and Learn, is going to be on Wednesday, March 27th. This QR code will take you to the Benji Educator Toolkit where you can register for that final Lunch and Learn. We're going to be learning a little bit about ECAPS and some additional information through the Arizona Department of Ed. And then kind of that next step, like I talked about a minute ago, is going to be our virtual spring training event. So that will kind of culminate our Lunch and Learns for this academic school year. We are so appreciative of all of our presenters who gave up their time today to talk about the amazing opportunities at their institutions. And thank you all for giving up your lunch potentially and taking time from your super busy schedules to participate. We are super grateful for all of you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will be sending these slides out probably today or tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day and rest of your week.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. I'm going to end the recording. I think I just end.